Hi there, I'm Danny Flexen. Welcome to SecondsOut FLEXpectations. We're here every Thursday, 4:30 PM, to look ahead to the boxing action of the weekend. You're probably still recovering from Tyson Fury's epic demolition job on Deontay Wilder at the weekend, and perhaps still also recovering from the ludicrous excuses that have been emanating from Wilder since the fight, including blaming his 45 pounds or whatever it weighs costume that he wore into the ring on sapping the strength from his legs. Less said about that, the better. Let's look forward to a big show that's taking place this weekend, Saturday night in Texas, promoted by Matchroom Boxing USA, and headlined by an intriguing welterweight fight between Mikey Garcia and Jessie Vargas. We haven't seen Mikey Garcia, 4-weight world champion, in the ring since his welterweight debut almost a year ago against Errol Spence ended in a one-sided decision defeat, the first defeat of Garcia's career, and one wherein he did not look at all suited to the 147-pound division. He insists he went in there, he felt weak, he didn't feel great, but he was up against the best fighter in his view in that division, and he feels that he can rebuild, acclimatise more to the weight, and really make a difference at welterweight and win his fifth world title in a fifth weight class. That remains to be seen, but Jessie Vargas is the sort of opponent, not elite level, but still world class, who should tell us a bit more about Garcia's ambitions. He's been out of the ring, Vargas, for 10 months, and he's not fought more than twice in a year since way back in 2014, so he's not been the most active fighter. Big fights have been talked about for Vargas, Kell Brook, for example, that have never quite come to fruition. And although he's unbeaten in his last 4, 2 of those were draws against Adrian Broner, one of them, which, Vargas still believes that he won that fight. And the other 2 that he did win were against lower level opposition that he would have been expected to beat, a faded Humberto Soto and an overmatched Aaron Herrera, it's fair to say. So he's not coming in on a great run of form, and the 2 occasions in the past where he has met elite operators didn't really go his way. Despite a spirited last round rally against Tim Bradley, he fell short in that one. And when he got the big opportunity against Manny Pacquiao a few years ago, he was clearly beaten in that one too. Despite an entertaining fight, there was no question at the end about who the winner was. So Vargas has got a lot to prove. And this is kind of make or break for him, because he can suffer losses to the likes of Bradley and Pacquiao, proven 147-pound performers. But if he falls to Garcia, who's made his name at the lower weights and whose only foray at welterweight previously saw him lose quite clearly to Spence, it may be over for Vargas at the very top level at 47. For Garcia, it's an opportunity to remind people of his enduring quality that saw him in most people's pound-for-pound top 10 before the Spence fight, and he remains in there for some as well. A lot of people felt, and I agree with them, that he should have gone down to super lightweight, and that's the best weight for him, where he should campaign. But he's already won a world title there, and you can see why he wants to make history. And not only that, the bigger names are at welterweight at the moment. Spence's already fought, of course, but Terence Crawford's still there. Keith Thurman will be coming back. Manny Pacquiao's there. We don't know how long Garcia's deal with DAZN and Eddie Hearn Matchroom is. There was rumours it was only for one fight. It may be longer than that. But if he becomes a free agent once again, all those fights then become possibilities for him. So that's the intriguing main event. We also see Cal Yafai make the 6th defence of his WBA Super Flyweight title. Now, if that's passed you by, I don't blame you. He won the belt way back in 2016, and it's been quite unremarkable since then. And I love Cal. He's a great guy, but he's trod water for a bit, it's fair to say. He's never looked like losing the belt, but he's had a couple of mandatories in that time, quite a few decision victories. And for someone who was a very talented GB amateur, won the world title quite early on in his pro career, he would have hoped to have been further ahead by now. 30 years old, big opportunity for him on this card to impress an American audience against a legend of the modern era in Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, former 3-weight world champion, who we haven't seen too much of him since he was involved in those back-to-back grueling wars with Srixet Rungvisai back in 2017. Easy for me to say. I think they took a lot out of him. Most people felt, similar to Garcia really, that he was in a weight class slightly too heavy for him. He should have gone back down to flyweight perhaps. But whatever you say, he did very well. He was competitive certainly in the first fight. which had a contentious decision. The second one, he was beaten up, unfortunately. And since then, he's only completed 5 rounds of action in the ring. Hasn't been particularly active, been blowing out opposition that's not really in his class. So it'll be interesting to see if he's a bit rusty when he comes in against Yafai, who has been extended the distance against genuine good fighters in the super flyweight division in the interim period. This is everything for Yafai to gain, a little bit for him to lose as well, of course, but for Gonzalez, this could be his very last chance at the top level. And at 32, he's getting on a bit for someone in such a low weight class. Yafai will hope to get the job done, but also in impressive style. Gonzalez still an incredibly talented fighter, if slightly past his best, and it could be the fight of the night. But if it's not, the other main fight out of the top 3, the other world title fight, WBC flyweight champion Julio Cesar Martinez of Mexico defends against the Commonwealth and European champion Jay Harris of Swansea in Wales. That could easily be the fight of the night just because of the way the styles will mesh. Harris, a boxer puncher with a dig and very physically strong, against Martinez, who pretty much mirrors him, albeit so far at a higher level. Both had excellent years last year. Harris came through to win the vacant European title, a bit of a cakewalk against Angel Moreno of Spain. Followed that up with a brutal beatdown after a war with Paddy Barnes. Barnes was brave and strong early on, but Harris ground him down to seal this shot. Martinez, on the other hand, he had a bit of a mixed year in a sense, in that he stopped Andrew Selby at Mexico, to favoured Andrew Selby. Then he went in against Charlie Edwards to challenge for the WBC flyweight title. And it looked like he was going to win it by a stoppage, had Edwards all over the place early on, but then made the mistake of hitting Edwards with a shot while the champion was prone on the canvas. Originally, he was declared the winner, but WBC champion Maurizio Suleiman, who was ringside, got into the ring and declared the match a no contest. So Edwards moved up in weight. A vacant title fight was arranged between Martinez and Christopher Rosales, who Edwards had beaten for the belt initially. And in a real entertaining tussle going back and forth, but mainly in favour of Martinez, the younger, fresher guy, prevailed with a stoppage, just kept walking his opponent down and just looked really ruthless, frightening even. He won't frighten Jay Harris though. The Welshman's not someone to be intimidated, but he has fought most of his impressive wins have come at a lower level, although Martinez only really broke out of a similar level himself last year. We don't know if Harris can take on someone of this standard until he actually gets in and has a go. So don't rule out an upset in that fight, although I'm not about to go out on a limb and predict one. Definitely tune in though, because it's 3 potentially very entertaining fights in Texas. And you can obviously watch on DAZN outside the UK or on Sky Sports over here. Let me know what you think. What's going to be the best fight of the night? What are your predictions for the 3 as well? Not just who's going to win, but how they're going to win, points or stoppage / KO. You've got to be specific in your predictions, even though I haven't given any, so I've got no shame. Let us know what you think. I'll respond to some of the comments below, and I'll be back next week, Monday, for reflections, Thursday for FLEXpectations, both 4:30 PM. Real pleasure as always, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.